line. Do you understand how we proceed to make sure that we will not be working with two states of the future that could happen at the same time? So we have to define them in a very good way so that we only have one that is very different from all the others. Okay, so if I go back there, if I copy this one here, and I go up there, and for example, I paste it. And this one, I remove it. So here we will have a lot of very small family-owned, so I will remove the small again, because we don't need 2 times small. Okay. So here we have the medium size. Here we have, okay, here dominant. Compared to this, we can say here, in some cases here they could be dominant. So instead of saying dominant, in order to make it even more contrasted, more stronger, we will say all holdings are national private companies. Okay? The idea is to have very contrasted states of the future, very, very different. So for you as facilitators, when the participants will suggest states of the future, help them to make the description very, very different one from another. So instead of saying dominant, because if they say dominant, it means that there are others, okay? Others which are not dominant. So in this case, we want really to separate the different futures. So it's better to use all holdings are national private corporate companies, okay? That's the way you have to manage the thing. Otherwise, if people say, yeah, there is a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and in the other one they said, yes, there is also a little bit and a little bit of that, it will not really help making very different situations. So here, what I suggest to do here is just to say, to write here, it doesn't change the spirit of this idea here is that the rubber sector is controlled, the rubber sector is, sorry, my English starts to be national private companies are the holdings which are operating rubber in Vietnam. That's what we say. Okay? So okay. And then, so if we do this, then we can move this one here, no more holdings, as a state form.
Tu copies à gauche, tu prends le format à gauche.
Ouais, mais ce que j'ai fait, ça n'a pas marché.
Et tu copies le format et tu le colles.
J'ai fait un polo hier soir.
Non, tu proposes.
C'est ça, c'est ici.
Je sais pas, on appelle un expert.
Okay, right.
Excel.
So now we have 6 states, medium-sized family, a national private corporate companies, a mix of very small family-owned farms and and very large estates. No more rubber holding, only state-owned. You remember we had also the government holdings, only state-owned holdings, and only one agro-industrial estate belonging to a foreign company. Is that okay? So we have 6 different futures. Is that okay? Can you live with that? Yes, if you cannot live with that,
No,
but if you can live with that, let's move to the next step.
the current state is not present in all these states.
Yes, 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 it's absolutely normal. It's absolutely normal because the current state is always something that is much more complex than that. And we will go back, well, we are using the current state, but not in this type of work that we are doing in the 4C project. Okay. Now, next one, we will look at what the colleagues working, this is the Vietnam colleagues, have done on labor supply, right? So in labor supply, they have identified 5 states of the future. One is there is no more labor available for the rubber sector at all. Second is there is very strong, I added, for Vietnam, I added permanent, very strong permanent labor shortage. 80% of the needs are not satisfied. Okay? That's fine for you? I just added permanent just in order to make it very different from the seasonal labor shortage. After that, they say there is seasonal shortage of labor supply. So from time to time during the year, you are experiencing shortage of labor. Then here the fourth one is enough labor is available to satisfy all needs of the rubber sector. That's fine. And then the fifth one, so I was not sure about this one, but we had oversupply, too much, you can say too much. A lot of people are available for labor in the rubber sector. So these are the 5 states of the future. Any comments, reactions from the other groups, just to make sure you understand well and you are happy with this? Nothing special?
Maybe the 80%.
Yeah.
You say none, you say maybe you have to write what you say. 80%?
80% of shortage.
Of something. No.
Yeah, maybe it should be, yeah.
80%. Maybe. Maybe confusing.
Maybe up to, if I say up to 80%, very strong permanent labor shortage, up to 80% of labor shortage. Is that okay? Okay, that's fine. So let's move now to what the colleagues on political capacity, that was Cambodia, right? No, that was Thailand. Okay, in Thailand, so remember political capacity is the level of influence of the actors, in the local actors in the rubber system that they have on the national rubber development policy, on the national rubber policy. Okay, that's the definition. So here we have one state that all actors have the same influence. Whoever they are, they all have the same influence. Here we have only farmers determine the direction of the national rubber policy. Here we have some actors, so Thailand, we remember, we had some actors, but we said not farmers, because it has to be different from this one. So some farmers have become very influent. But here we don't say who they are. We don't need to say who they are, because that will help us for building scenarios to imagine different type of actors, but they will not be farmers. Okay, so that's the third state. And then the fourth one is no actor of the rubber system influences the orientation of national rubber development policy. So we have 4 states, all with the same influence. The farmers who are influencing, different other people than farmers influencing, and nobody in the system influencing. Colleagues from the other countries, and is that okay for you? Okay. Now we go to the national investment. So national investment was Cambodia. So in Cambodia, national investment is the level of investment by who? Sorry, this one I do not remember exactly. The level of investment is what is it? Okay. The state of national investment in the rubber sector, who, private, corporate, funds, investors, private, state, national, and at what level? Okay, so here we say we have only the government invest in a rubber plantation. Okay. Here we have national investors invest in rubber from upstream to downstream. So that was a discussion that we had with the colleagues. In fact, they said all the aspects of the rubber chain in the country benefit from investment from national investors in the plantation, in the transformation, in the processing. That was right, huh? That was what we had in mind. Yes, Cambodia? Yeah. Okay. Then we had all rubber-related companies are registered in a national stock market. Okay, I will come back to this one after. Then we have, tell me if I'm right, huh? When you said AC Union, what is agricultural cooperatives? Union, that's what you said? Okay. Yes. Agricultural cooperative unions invest in all rubber and non-rubber products. When you said non-rubber product, means the non-rubber products coming out of the rubber farms.
Rubber-based.
Rubber, yeah.
Including rubber wood.
Yeah, including rubber wood. That's what. It's not like about investing in animal husbandry and so. It's non-rubber. It's the non-rubber wood.
Or like
yeah.
beekeeping as
Hmm?
like beekeeping
Yeah.
in their rubber plantation as well.
Yeah. So it's
So it all included together.
Rubber-based system, it means if you grow
For example, they also produce like rubber product including cloth or fisheries and rubber latex for non-product including
non, mais c'est dans les exploitations de
and
rubber.
also
Non, c'est ça que je voulais poser.
beekeeping in their plantation.
bees.
Yes.
Okay, so it can be other product like another crops also.
And animal as well. Like
Intero also.
cow.
Right, so
Yeah,
cattle,
but it's
everything.
still in the rubber production system. It's
Rubber-based
not,
system,
we're not
also.
talking about dairy farms, we are not talking about orchards, we are not talking about palm oil plantations, etc. We are talking about the rubber system. Right?
Rubber-based.
Rubber-based.
system.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, right. Okay. So here, no more national investment. Okay, and here, joint venture between governments and national investors for the whole thing. So here is only the government. Here it's only national private sector. Here is a joint venture. Here is nothing. Here is the agricultural union cooperatives. And I just wanted to go back to this because it was at the end of the workshop yesterday, and so could you explain me again what does it mean exactly? All rubber-related companies are registered in a national stock market. So who is investing then in the rubber system? They are registered in the national stock market. So what does it mean in terms of who invests in rubbers and at what level? I was not sure. Colleagues from Cambodia. Yeah. It's just because just to clarify, I'm not sure if you understand this very well, you can also explain, but for me, I just wanted to know whether it was a different state or the same or... Yeah.
I mean that the rubber company list in stock market because they want to expand their company in their
Yeah.
corporate with public.
Yeah. But that's not, it's something that is not related with the state of the future, because here is who invests, in this case, who invested rubber in the rubber system. So if it's private company, then it's the same as this one. It describes a situation that is not exactly the situation of, as per the definition of this factor of this driving force. This is compatible with that, right? You can have national investors invest in rubber from upstream to downstream and being all registered in a national stock market. It's possible. You see? So here we do not have actually an additional state of the future. It's a different issue. You see what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So would you agree if we just take it out, because this is not it's not related. It's another factor. It's a different factor. Is that fine? Okay. Yes.
In the second one, you say only national investor invest, but you didn't write it. So
Okay? Only. Yeah.
it's not the same, huh, because
We have to say only. Yeah.
but if you say only, do we have something mixed?
Some
Mixed, it means
yes,
government and
here,
national investment.
joint venture between government and national investors.
So no, you can have you could have also you can have two systems, the private company and the government company that are not joint venture. Joint venture means they invest together.
Okay. Okay. Sorry. There is a remark here which says maybe there is a missing state, which is, if I put it a bit to the extreme, be whoever wants to invest in the rubber system, invest. So there is no pattern, there is no specific fixed way of investing. I want to do it, I'm a private company, I do it. You want to do it, you're a national sector, you are a national government company, you do it. So whoever wants, I'm a farmer, I do it. I'm not a farmer, I'm a stock market holder, I do it. You see what I mean? So here, exactly, since we have free one space here, we will put it here. Is it okay for you? I see Trish is yes. Okay, so could you help just reformulate it here? So you erase this one, and here we say on, you will change it to say only national investors, and here we say any how can we write this? Whoever wants to invest in the rubber sector is free to do it.
In various pattern of investor.
Different types of investors.
They are different.
Yeah, exactly. There are different types of
Various,
yeah. Yeah, okay. Very simple definition. Sometimes the simple definition is the best. Okay. Different types of, and we can say that these different types can also change.
Of national investors.
Different types of of national investors, because we are in the national investment.
Yeah, but
Eh oui, mais c'est pas au sens de
no,
ça.
parce qu'en fait,
In English, please.
it can be national investment, but it can be for foreign, from different sources. It doesn't mean to be, national investment. Does it mean national investment is only from the country, or it's also authorization? Do we put there that if you are outside of the country, you also participate?
What you mean outside of the country?
You're not from Holland yet.
Foreign.
Foreign.
Yeah, you're foreign.
Foreign.
Okay, so we have that in the external factor, foreign investment in the rubber sector.
Okay, national investment from the nation.
You remember? We have that. That will be a part of. That will be what we will discuss on Friday. We have the external factors on national on investment, and we will see how this fits with the work of the store.
But the question is whether it's authorized or not.
Whether it's
Authorized or not through the pattern of national.
no, the definition of the variable interest. It's not the national policy. The definition is who are the national investors in the rubber system. Okay. It's just because what you have to say, Raphael, is something that is in the is in the next. It's in the next. In the next. Okay. So here we have there are different types of national investors. Okay. So here we have. Sorry. Yeah. So here we have only government, only national investors. Okay. Only government in rubber plantation. Here, national investors only, but from upstream to downstream, because they are national investors, they want their money to be useful, so they put the money on the whole system, in the whole system. Here, different types of investors. Could be a national, could be a private, could be government, could be the agricultural union cooperative, could be, but they are from the country. It could be even the diaspora of the people from the country, the Cambodia diaspora. You know what the diaspora is? Diaspora is the people who are from Cambodia but who live outside of Cambodia, but they are Cambodian citizens or Vietnamese citizens. Or, so this is called the diaspora. Okay. So all your family and people who are working outside, they could also invest in the rubber system. They are national people. They still have the nationality of the country. So if I'm French, I live outside of France, but I can invest in the development on forest in the southwest of France, and I will be a national investor because I'm a French citizen, right? So here we have different types. Here we have the agricultural cooperative union. Here no more national investment, and here joint venture between government and national investment. That's fine? Okay? Can you all live with that? All right. So now we go to the last one. Okay. So the last one is the national rubber policy. And here there are 4 different future states. One is, so national rubber policy, it's the orientation, if you remember well. Where is it? Where is it?
On les a parce que là, t'as le Cambodge. T'as d'autres, c'est pas forcément
National rubber policy, c'était
The rubber policy, the state of the national policy for the development of the rubber plantation sector. Type of actor supported combined with the type of support. When actually the idea is that when someone raises the hand, everybody raises the hand. Because if I'm the only one raising my hand and they're talking together, they even don't see me. But if everyone around them raises their hand, then they will listen. Okay, you raise your hand. Now, national rubber policy. So the first one is policies forbid export of natural rubber and promote both sustainable natural rubber production by small and medium holdings only, and local second transformation. Second transformation, is it clear for everyone what it means, the second transformation? Don't answer, please. Is it clear for everyone? No question about what second transformation means? If I ask someone here what second transformation means, you will be able to answer my question. Be careful because I'm going to ask the question. Everybody understand what second transformation is?
This is the one after the first.
Exactly.
What is the first?
So, okay, no need to clarify, everybody understands. Good. Then we go to the second one.
Some people say no.
Some people say no.
I haven't heard anything. Nobody says no, I don't understand. So I keep on working. Okay, Joe.
I don't understand clearly about the transformation.
Processing.
Okay.
What means transformation?
Processing.
Processing?
So
You can put processing.
from the plantation, you have raw rubber.
Yeah.
Then
No.
you need to transform it. Processing to
Well,
make
you don't need to process it, you transformation.
processing. So processing maybe better.
And processing, okay.
No,
Thank you
transformation.
very much.
Processing instead of transformation.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Processing, you understand everyone?
So the first transformation is from the factory, the bale, and the raw rubber that you export is the first. You take the latex and you go to
And
the factory.
processing.
The second is to end-use product.
Okay.
But maybe with processing is more
processing.
easier than transformation.
Okay, so we
Second
change
processing.
it to processing. And processing.
And second,
And processing.
no, mais only processing. It's a process to make the raw
And
rubber.
local processing, sorry. And local.
If you say processing,
second is important.
second,
And
because
local-
the first processing is to do the raw rubber. You know, the creper,
Yeah.
the dryer. This is a processing, and this is raw rubber. And then you take this bale, and you make a tire, for example. This is the second.
So you mean local processing up to the end-use product?
But, oui, that's
Okay,
it.
so let's write it because
Yes,
if you have to be very clear. You see, because if you say second processing, And you know exactly what it means. But if all the other participants have no idea about what second processing here is, then it's better to use the words that would be clear for everyone. So again, this is also for you, the facilitators. Some people may have a good knowledge of things, but in order to make sure that everyone understands, you have to be very clear about the meaning of the words.
If you want to focus about the final product, you can change from local processing to local downstream.
Processing.
Downstream.
Yeah, but
A downstream relative to, you know, you can say that the first transformation is downstream. If we talk to agronomists, downstream to make the raw rubber, this is downstream to make the raw rubber. But for in your definition, it's to make the tire, for example, or the condoms or the gloves. But it's relative. No, but to end use, to end use product processing.
Processing up to
Up.
product.
Oui, quoi?
and local processing up to end-use product. I think that you have to ask yourself, I mean, the question that you have to ask yourself is that, will your father or your mother or will your children understand what you write here? If they don't understand, you can imagine that a lot of people also will not understand. So if you say downstream and you ask your brother or your sister, do you understand what I mean here? I'm sure she or he will say, no, I don't understand, I'm sorry, I don't know what you are talking about. Because it is not a specialized exercise only for people who are very, very, very good in rubber. It's something that has to be brought to many other people, policymakers, farmers, whoever. And so those people will have to understand if we are using the jargon, in the specific technical words of your profession, it is very likely that it will not go beyond your office because nobody will understand what we have done. Okay? So this is really what matters here. There is behind that, there is a communication issue. How we communicate the results. So in order to communicate the results in the best way, you have to use words that everyone can understand. And when we say everyone, it's not just your colleagues in your research organization, it's the people in the street. You go to outside, you take your morphological table, and you stop someone in the street and you ask the people, read and tell me if there are words that you don't understand. Okay? And if they say, no, I understand all the words, that's fine. But if they start saying, okay, I don't know what is downstream, I don't know what is the second transformation, I don't know what is the stock market. You see what I mean? Okay, you got it? You need to communicate properly. With the words, common words that describe well what you want to say. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So policies, here we have the second one. Policies support only foreign large private sector investment targeting the export of raw rubber products. So that's another state. Okay? You have it on your file. Huh? Then the third one is policies constantly change in terms of who they support and what they support. So from one year to in 5 years' time, it has completely changed because it's a different, there are different priorities, a different government, different issues. So you never know what the policy orientation will be for the next 3 or 4, in 2 years' time. You think that it is well known, and in 2 years' time, it changes into something else. They supported the farmers, and now they're supporting the big companies. And after a few years, they come back to support the farmers, but only for plantation. And after that, it's for processing. So you never know. Here we know what the policies are. Here there are policies, but you never know what will come out. And here, there is no policy. There is nothing specific for the rubber sector. No indication, no orientations, nothing. Which is different, huh? This one is not the same as this one. Here, you will have rules, etc. But here is nothing. Okay? So those are the 4 states for the national rubber policy. Colleagues from the other group, is that okay for you? These 4 states? Okay, that's fine. So you can see that we said up to 6, but sometimes it could be only 5 or even 4. states of the future. So the maximum, well, we say the maximum because otherwise it becomes very difficult to work with the results. So we say, hopefully we can limit ourselves to 6 future states, but it doesn't mean that you need to find always 6. Sometimes you find only 4, sometimes you find 5, it's okay. So this is the morphological table, yeah.
And for consistency among all the different lines, we don't need to have the same number of states.
No. This is really, this is not, it's free, well, free. Within the limits that we have fixed. Yeah.
It will work for the
Ah, oui, it will work, yes, it will work, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's send this table again to everyone. Just erase and put that in no highlighted. Okay. Now, before we go to the next step of the process, which is creating futures for the rubber sector, we will just take a few moments for some feedback on yesterday's translation of the support material. You had questions regarding the support material for the structural analysis for the and the driving forces. Yes, Nari and Pirun. Yeah.
For me, I'm still not so clear about the graph that we described about what is driver, what is
Okay.
lever. Yes.
Singular.
So in the graph, you also not like describe the definition, but we just try to.
Okay. Did you see that in the resources? I forgot to tell you that yesterday. Did you see that in the resources you have methodological notes, documents that you know everything. I have put in. Did you read them? And does it answer the question of Nari? You remember? Okay. I think it answers your question. I have put methodological notes in English, but they explain how to use the table, what are the driving forces, what are the factors of change, etc. So if you look at them first, it's not very long, it's 1 page sometimes, 1 page and a half. And it tries to describe very, very precisely all the different elements, including the worksheets, the table, the Excel table, the different part of it, the tables, the graphs. So you can take a look at it, and if you still not sure, then we can have a session on that. Is that okay for you?
Yes.
Yeah. And yeah.
One.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. No. Of course.
And sometimes it is difficult to like to explain to others why different the higher one of the driver
Yeah.
and why combine the two
Okay.
between the driver and levers.
Okay. I know this is something that you have to adjust. You have to adjust when you see the results, because each time you will do this work, results will be different. The place of the different factors of change will be different from one topic. If you do that in Cambodia and if you do that in Vietnam, probably or almost surely the graph will be different. So there is no. I cannot tell you. You have to combine or never combine. It depends on the results. Here we combine because we have 2 factors of change which were of the same dimension and very close. National policy for plantation and national policy for rubber chain development. So, and because they were close together, it sounds logical to put them into one variable. But if you prefer to keep them separate, you can keep them separate. That's not a problem. Okay? So that's the first thing. Then, why we select the upper left? It's because those are the most influence factors. Okay, so that's the rule. There is a rule. When you look at the graph, what is on the left part, the upper part, it is where you need to take the driving forces. And if there is not enough driving forces here, then you look at the right side, but up, always up. So in what we call the leverage. And then you can pick maybe one, but preferably those which are close to the left part. Yeah. Okay. Exactly. And then the last point is, once you have already identified the factors of change that you will select, you check whether you have different dimensions. If you have some social, technical, economic, policy dimension, because it's better to think about the future by combining different dimensions. If you have all the factors of change that you have on the top are economic factors, yeah, so it means that what you will think about, it's only something that is based on economy. So there will be nothing about social, nothing about policy, nothing about technology. So that it's not as good as if we had different dimensions. Okay. Okay. Right?
Romain, est-ce
Oui.
que tu veux que je fasse, que je l'imprime,
Oui,
ce
oui,
tableau?
oui.
Et est-ce que tu veux que je fasse un 1 à 2, je mette un 1 à 2 à 3,
Oui, devant l'état, je fais 1, 1, 2, 3. So while, yeah, okay, sorry, excuse me.
When I translate the
Could you speak a bit louder?
yeah,
Just a
when
bit.
when I translate the methodology, not identify the process of change.
Mhm.
In your presentation, you view the factor of change, but can see in this process of change. Maybe the process make confusing about the
yes,
driving process and
but
the process
you-
of change.
Which one? Okay, this is the okay. This one I did not revise it. I put it on, but it has to be revised a little bit. In all the others,
Yeah.
I've changed forces with
Oh,
factors.
really?
You know, with Joe, you cannot make a mistake. Huh? If one single mistake, she points it out. Okay. Because, yeah, it's factor. Yeah. So in that file, when you see force of change, it's factor of change. It's because before, when it's a file that I started to write in 2015. Almost,
2015.
yeah, but I have updated them, but I did not put attention on the fact that I was still force of change. And here, for instance, you see the logo, the GFAR logo. I have erased the logo from the other files, but I forgot to erase it from this one. So I will adjust it in the drive to make it updated. Thank you very much. You have no right to fail. Thank you. No, but it's good because I didn't notice it. So thanks a lot. Okay. While Raphael is printing the table for you, because we will be using the table for the next step, I'm going to show you what the next step is about. Okay. No.
Je crois ça, je savais même pas que ça existait. Ça là.
Ah mais ouais, j'ai fait ça.
T'as fait en plein vélo. Et ça c'est quoi alors? Du coup ça marche comment les 3 euros? Il faut qu'il fasse. Il faut qu'il donne Ah donc c'est
You see, all this we have done, so we've done a lot of work. We have done this, blah blah blah, we've done this, we've done this. Can you see all the good work that we've done? We have done this. So, this one, so this is the morphological table, right? The one that Raphael is printing now. Okay? You remember yesterday? Now that's the explanation of what we did yesterday when we said this is the cause, the consequence, etc. So this is something that I've done for you, as a support material, so that you can remember how it works. So you remember when we had a driving force here, a local capacity, for example, then we ask the participants, we send them in the future, they bring the cars, and then you remember I put the cars here, here, here. So usually you don't have to write this on the board in the wall. This is to be in your mind. You have to keep this in your mind. At the top, we have the generic, some people will say a generic description of the local capacity. They will say the local capacity is developed, something like that. So you cannot, it's not a future state. So you put it here. Then you've seen I've cut some cars, and we said, oh, those are the causes why the local capacity is like that. So the causes, you put them here. When in some cars it say, and then the local production increased, so that was a consequence, so we put it here. So we only keep here the cars that are describing exactly what is the driving forces in the future related to the definition. You remember? So this is what we've done. We cut, we separate, and we keep here what really matters. What really matters means the real description of the future state. And this is where we discuss with the participants. We don't discuss this, we don't discuss that, we discuss this with the participants. This is what we've done yesterday. But I put it on a slide so you can remember, because doing it like this is one thing, but remembering how to do it, you need to have that as a support material. Okay? Okay. So this is what we've done, so I don't go back to this. And today we are moving to this. Hey, look, after this, it's finished. Almost. Almost. It's finished for this, for the co-elaborative scenario building training. But Friday we will have a small training on the matrix of critical uncertainties. So it's a top for you, it's a cherry on the top of the pie. Okay, so here we will look at and we will create what we call alternative futures, or if in other words, we create scenarios of the future of the labor in the rubber sector. And for this, we will work on strange things that are called frames, synopses, and narratives, but by the end of this day and tomorrow morning, you will be completely aware and very good at creating frames, writing synopsis, and developing narrative. Hopefully. If not, it means that I'm a bad facilitator. Okay. So, still with the housing metaphor, you remember? We are at the same time we are building houses, right? So, what we have done yesterday, we have identified what are the different elements, the different type of walls, the different type of doors, the different size of the house, the different type of roofs that we could use. This is the states of the future. So here we said, for example, the wall, which we can use for building the house, could be made of stone, of corrugated iron, of clay, of cement, of wood, or even, in the future, in printed plastic. Why not? So this is a creative state. Today we are not yet using printed plastic to make woods, but sometimes we can use it. Maybe we can use it. Okay. Here for the door, we said wood, plastic, metal, or even no door. We can have a house with no door. Here, future states, the size is one room, many rooms, but here could be adjustable. The room changes when you want, you have your house, like a bit the Japanese houses, where you slide things, and it's a big room, and if you have more people, then you change the thing, and it's small rooms, okay? And here the roof, you can have a roof that is made of tile, of straw, cement, corrugated iron, or even solar panels. Okay? So this is the equivalent of the future states that we have identified for our driving forces. So I'm always building this metaphor so you can see how we process. Now we will see how to create alternative futures, frames, synopsis, and narratives. So here, what does it mean? What are we going to create? We are going to create different types of houses, right? By combining some elements of we will, for example, combine corrugated iron with metal door, with one room with corrugated iron roof. I thought we will have one house which have walls of corrugated iron, a roof of corrugated iron, a container, yeah, or a small house in a slum. because you have only iron as the only material, and you have one door and one small tiny room because you have no money for anything else. So this is what we're going to do. Okay. So the first thing that we are going to do is to create frames. I don't know how you translate frames in Thai and in Vietnamese and in Khmer, but the idea is that we will combine a state of driving force A, the state of driving force B, C, D, E, L. We will combine them. For example, a frame will be, here we have A1, state driving force A and state 1. So this is called A1, right? This is what? B3, B3. Here this is C2. Here we have 4 and 5. So the frame will be the combination of A1, B3, C2, and up to N5. This is what we call a frame. It's a vertical combination of one future state of each of the driving forces. Like for the house, a frame in the house is a combination of the state of a wall, a roof, a door, and the size. Okay? So when I'm combining one type of door, one type of wall, one type of room, and one type of size, when I combine them together, I have a specific house. So here, when I'm combining one state of type of holding, one state of national investment, one state of local capacity, one state of labor supply, and one state of national policy, when I combine them, I will have one type of future for the labor. And I will do many combinations. Because I could also combine this one with this one, with this one, with this one, and this one. So it will be a different combination. I will have a different house. I will have a different future for the for labor. Okay? You understand the spirit, how we proceed? It's very simple. It's quite funny to do it, but there are rules. Yeah, there are rules. Okay. So as I said, you can have 1, 2 states. We can have many states. Okay. Okay. So before creating states, we have to make sure that we are not combining things that cannot be combined together because it's not coherent, it's not consistent. Okay? For example, if I had in the building, in the house metaphor, if I had walls made of what do I say? Of clay, and no door, and a solar panel. Say, does it make sense to have a house that is made on clay with no door and solar panel? Sounds bit, doesn't sound very not even likely, but how will it work? And if we say there is no power supply in the house and there are solar panels, so how can you have solar panel and no, that would be not compatible. Okay? So this is what we are going to do. This is a work that you have to do as facilitators. We will do it with you, but usually when you are doing an activity in the country, you do that among the group of facilitators, preferably at night. So you don't do it during the working session with the people before you start creating frames. And we will learn how to do this. But for that we need to have the printout. So basically what we say here is that this combination, the vertical combination, must have what we say internal coherence, consistency. For example, you remember in our table we say no more holdings, no more rubber. So how would it be possible if you have no more rubber that the government, the policy would focus on promoting natural rubber with smallholder farmings and the processing until the end product? It's not possible, right? You cannot have at the same time the state no more rubber, no more holdings in the type of holdings, and at the same time a policy that is promoting the natural rubber development. It's not possible. If you create a combination with that, everyone will say, well, what are you doing? That doesn't make sense. So checking the incompatibilities we do that in order to avoid this kind of problem. Okay? So my example was very simple in order for you to understand well what we mean with incompatibilities. Two things that cannot coexist together because it doesn't make sense. Because it does not work. Okay? So this is why we need to identify the incompatible states of the future, and for that we will do it progressively. We will check them one by one. So it's a little bit time consuming, but it saves a lot of time after that, because then we do not have to discuss combination which do not make sense. We only discuss combinations that are logically produced. Okay. Vous avez
Un problème dans
Okay. Let's solve how do we solve the printing problem? You have the file in your computer? Raphaël, tu as envoyé tu l'as renvoyé avec les A1, B2, B3. Okay, so open the file in your computer. You have opened the file in your computer? The morphological table?
Il faudrait la renvoyer.
Ça y est, elle a renvoyé.
Ah, elle l'a renvoyé?
Elle a renvoyé une V2.
Avec les...
Ah ben je sais
Avec,
pas.
avec le the new one. Hein?
The new one, the updated one.
Okay. So you will do that with me.
Together, we can.
Okay.
Je peux t'aider. Tu peux me prendre comme cliqueur.
Ouais, attends, c'est parce que I need to find it. Okay, it's here.
C'est bon? Ah, c'est l'imprimante qui te demande d'attendre?
Okay, here what you have to do is just,
Pas la stresser.
here you put A1 dot, like this. We give a number to each future state. So here, for example, it's A1 like this.
Il faut faire ça pour tous.
Okay? Can you do that? A1, A2, A3.
No stress.
So here we will do A1, A2, A3, A4, 5, 6. Do it on your computer. Don't look at this one. I'm not going to do it. I'm just making sure that you are doing it. Okay, after that, here you put what?
C1.
B1 or B1? B1, B2, B3, B4. Okay. Then here, C1, C2, C3, C4, D1, D2, D3, D4, and E1, 2, 3, 4. So that you have also the file on your... Okay. You've got it? When you finish, you tell me.
lựa mấy cái thông tin sách chiếu.
Ça, ça va faire...
Kêu lựa cái thông tin sách chiếu để lại nó ra trước nữa.
Wow, we have a nice morphological table. Look at this. It's a nice one, huh?
If you say so.
We are waiting for this because it's easier to work on the compatibilities when you can look at the table on the.
En fait, je sais pour rien parce que.
Ouais, en gros, ouais.
En fait, c'est fait déjà.
Okay. Now, are you okay?
Non, non, c'est fait sur le papier là déjà. On fait un truc qui est déjà un peu.
Học 6 trên 5
C'est bien,
pas
c'est
grave.
différent.
Đang ở là chỉ có kiểu như 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mới chỉ có 6 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 thì là 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
So
6, 7,
here,
8 nhân 1, 2, 3, 4,
this is the explanation. This is the explanation of what we are going to do.
Viết tài liệu rồi.
It is on the file that you will have on your computer. I will not go through this, we will do it first, and after that we will see, we will look at this. So, the three of you,
Để cái số đúng
you are together.
Cái đó là tính theo
The three of you,
tính
you are together.
cách tính tổng.
No, we will change. We will have, because otherwise I will have several people together and it's unmanageable. So, I'm Sirat, so I'm also unmanageable, don't worry. So, Pierre-Marie, you will be with, okay, you two, you will be with Frédéric. You two, you will be with Benedict.
Ok,
I'll change a little bit.
no problem.
You two, you will be with Laurent. And you two, you will be with Raphaël. Okay? Who is not assigned?
Philippe.
Mais Philippe, il est avec les collègues du Vietnam.
Okay. So, Philippe, your group, you take A1. You take A2.
Hey!
A2,
A1, A2, A3.
A3, A4, A5.
Pierre-Marie, avec Laurent. Avec Laurent.
A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, A6. So what you have to do is to
Moi, c'était
you check
Toi, t'es avec
whether
Marie et Rani.
the future states, listen to me, you check whether the future states that you have been assigned, for example, they have A1, they have to check if A1 is compatible and is possible to have at the same time. Most holdings are medium-sized family-owned interconnected as cooperatives, and B1, no more labor available for the rubber sector. So you have to figure out if in the future you can have a situation where these two things can coexist. If you think that it is not possible, then you write it on a sheet of paper, and you write it like this. If it is not compatible, you write it like this. A1/B1. Okay? The not compatible. Only the not compatible. A1/B1. And if possible, if you can write it in a computer, Excel file, that will make my life much easier.
We don't want to make your life easier.
That's why I said they are not manageable, these guys. Okay, can you do that?
And so we check with every.
A1 with all the B,
All the C.
all the C, all the D, and all the E. Okay. When you finish, you come to me and you tell me. Yeah, exactly. So in a column, you put the incompatibility that you have listed in one cell, in a column, yeah. A1, for example, you have the A4, the A4, B4, A4, C, D1, A4, E2. Okay. In order. Well, not in order is not necessary. Okay?
Em mới nói
Who is going to work with this?
nếu mà làm hết 6 cái A luôn là nhiều lắm, nhưng mà lấy này vô cái này là
Moi, je suis avec les 6. Tu vois, en gros, la
Oui, ben all actors have the same influence, c'est pas compatible, parce que all actors, il y en a qu'un seul. Ben, il n'y a plus de farmers, donc c'est pas... Non, c'est one agro-industrial estate, c'est pas farmers. Farmers, c'est farmers, mais un agro-industrial estate, c'est pas farmers. Mais après, si vous avez des questions... Okay, just one thing. Please, before you start, listen to me. Before you start, if you are not sure, if you have a doubt,